I want to start this video off with a quick disclaimer, as this video does mention suicide and other subjects which may be considered offensive or uncomfortable for certain viewers. With that being said, let's get into today's video. The internet has been plagued with some of the darkest material ever imaginable, such as gore sites, cyber scams, and pedophiles oftentimes hiding in plain sight or are completely impossible to find due to the many layers of the internet. Today, we are going to be focused on the latter and how the evolution of the internet benefits many of us but can also cause harm to others that are subject to cyberbullying and blackmailing. The story starts off with Amanda Todd, a young Canadian girl from British Columbia who aspired to be a singer and was heavily inspired by the pop star Justin Bieber. At an early age, she moved in with her father after her parents divorced and began uploading singing videos in hopes of one day being discovered. Amanda's father noticed her passion for singing and later purchased her a webcam as a way of helping his daughter's dream of becoming famous come true. Innocently, Amanda created a blog TV account where she would upload videos of her singing and occasionally chat with strangers on the platform. Please note that this website was very popular in 2010 and can be compared to Twitch or Kick, where one can simply record themselves while also engaging with chats from strangers. This can come at a heavy price, however, as the internet is home to some very twisted individuals who can easily hide behind a false account or username. And just as innocently as all this began, it would later become the reason that Amanda Todd is no longer here today. During her days on Blog TV, she was pressured into flashing the camera by degenerates in the chat, and after more than a year, she regrettably gave in. Lurking in the chat was a man under the username Tyler Boo, who awaited this moment to capture a screenshot of Amanda at her most vulnerable. Amanda's life would continue as normal until about a year later, when she received a friend request on Facebook from an account named Tyler Boo, which had her breasts displayed as the profile picture, and claimed to expose her to friends and family if she did not give him private performances at his request, but Amanda denied. Tyler turned Amanda's life into a hell of constant bullying and harassment after he sent the pictures to all of Amanda's closest friends and family members. It would get so overwhelming that on more than one occasion, her entire family was forced to move, but it was to no use, as Tyler's relentless wave of blackmail would follow her everywhere she went. Amanda was no longer able to hide from her cyberbully, therefore turning to drugs and alcohol as a way of coping with her situation. That is, until October 10th of 2012, when she just couldn't take it anymore. Leading up to this tragic event, Amanda released a 9-minute video on YouTube titled My Story, struggling with bullying, suicide, and self-harm, explaining her experience being bullied through a series of flashcards. On October 10th, 2012, at about 6 p.m., Amanda's body was discovered hanging in her home. The video went viral after her death, receiving over 1.6 million views by October 13th, 2012, and garnered significant media attention. In the months after her death, Canadian authorities appointed 20 investigators to investigate this case full-time, and what they would find would lead them into the darkest corners of the internet. With that being said, a lingering question remained: who was Tyler Boo? In order to discover the anonymous user who harassed Amanda for years and ultimately caused her early demise, it's important to note that he was not working alone. In fact, he was part of a much darker and twisted community of pedophiles who used the internet to blackmail underage boys and girls. Amanda's photo was posted on a platform called The Daily Capper. For context, The Daily Capper was a platform created by a group of predators, also known as cappers, in or around 2010, for the sole purpose of exploiting and blackmailing young girls. These so-called cappers would sit in chat rooms of young boys and girls and ask them to perform some kind of lewd act. Upon performing this lewd act, a screen recording or screen capture, also known as caps, would be used as blackmail against vulnerable children. It is widely believed that moderation of chat rooms was almost non-existent in the early 2000s, making it easy for cappers to stalk chat rooms on any given night. The pilot episode of The Daily Capper aired on June 20th of 2010, with episodes featuring different victims being posted for more than a year after the first episode aired.
Welcome to another edition of The Daily Capper. We just wanted to help provide a few more details to the recent Amanda Todd tragedy. The majority of people seem misinformed. The media tends to miss out on a lot of key information, others have no idea what they're talking about, and police investigators have no understanding of the internet at all. While people have made Amanda Todd's case into an example of bullying, what they tend to overlook is the capping and blackmail aspect of the story. Contrary to what the media believes, this wasn't just a petty case of cyberbullying. For them to continue.
At first glance, many of you could recognize this news anchor from an old children's program on HBO called Crashbox. It's no wonder why the creators of The Daily Capper hijacked the children's show and made it their own using voice moderation text-to-speech and a completely different theme from the original. Each episode consisted of minors who fell victim to these cappers and were subject to blackmail and oftentimes verbal abuse. Their age was sure to be mentioned by the cappers, such as a 15-year-old and a group of 13-year-olds. In this community of predators, they would often argue amongst each other as well, treating the photos of these young children as trading cards. In one post, a desperate capper vented his displeasure. "Why are all blackmailers so fucking unreliable? I've used at least 6 different blackmailers now, and every fucking single one has ended up standing me up, ignoring my mails and not giving me my share of the deal. I have at least 10 fresh girls ready for blackmail, with Facebook pictures, etc., but I can't find a reliable blackmailer." Amanda Todd was featured on The Daily Capper on December 5th, 2010, and just like many others before her, she was subjected to the same humiliation.
Meanwhile, another girl from Blog has been talked about a lot this week. Announcing Amanda. She has been blocked a few times on Blog for showing. She said she has been IP banned from Blog TV and ended up moving to Wicked Camp Chat to sing like she usually does. We have been thinking about her.
In or around 2011, about a year into Amanda's blackmail, a concerned citizen reported that images of a young girl were circulating on the internet. Investigators would then actively monitor specific social media websites that were frequented by Amanda Todd and other young girls. It is said that Canadian authorities were tipped off by anonymous sources on more than one occasion that Amanda was being sexually extorted by an adult male. In response, authorities said there was nothing that could be done. In January of 2014, Facebook assisted Canadian investigators in their search by forwarding reports of sexual extortion and harassment by numerous victims in Canada, the UK, and the Netherlands. The reports were all aimed at a 35-year-old man with Dutch and Turkish citizenship. Having installed spyware in his computers prior to his arrest for other offenses involving possession and distribution of child pornography, investigators were sure they had the man they've been looking for. His name was Aiden Coben, and what they discovered would leave them speechless. Unsettling chat logs of sexual extortion of children, numerous images of child pornography, and 58 bookmarked names that served as a database of potential victims, along with all their social media accounts, were found. Aiden Coben faced 72 charges of sexual assault and extortion in the Netherlands, involving 39 victims, specifically 34 young girls and 5 young men from Canada, the US, Norway, and the UK. Some of these victims have been harassed for several years. In 5 separate charges related to Amanda, Aiden Coben was to be extradited to Canada in early 2018, but was delayed to December of 2020 because of issues with travel documents. On August 5th of 2022, the jury found Coben guilty of all charges and was sentenced to 13 years in prison, which included factors such as the sophistication of the blackmail scheme, the widespread distribution of Todd's images, and Aiden Coben's lack of remorse. Investigators gave a brief statement about the obstacles they faced during their investigation, such as false information and numerous scams claiming to raise money for Amanda Todd's family. In the end, this case has brought significant change to the way many countries protect those most vulnerable in our society. The biggest example of this is the Cyber Safety Act in Canada, which protects individuals from online harassment. Remember to always stay safe on the internet, as there are, and truly will always be, those who use the internet for malice intentions.